SABC News senior reporter Griselda Lewis is in court and joins us for more details. Griselda, good morning. Thank you so much for making a time for us. Well, those startling details coming out yesterday from Colonel Steyn, and a lot of people asking themselves why there would have been this call between Khumalo as well as Fisokuhle.
Well, that's right, Aldrin. I earlier described it as startling details. Certainly is emerging here at the High Court in Pretoria yesterday, which shows of a direct link in cell phone communication between the fifth accused in this trial, Fisokuhle Ntuli, as well as Khumalo, Colonel Lambertus Steyn, who is with the cold case division within the South African Police Service. Aldrin had been requested to profile what he described as targets and suspects identified by the investigating team. For example, if there were first-time offenders, he's got to do a complete profile of them and also follow up if they have firearms in their possession, and also establish if there is a link between any of the suspects to the people who were inside the house at the time that Senzo Meyiwa was killed. So he also received cell phone downloads from investigators. He says he received downloads from all the people inside the house, except for the cell phone, Aldrin, you'd recall, that was stolen during the alleged crime, and Senzo's phone. So they did not get downloads from that phone that was stolen, as well as Senzo's phone. So during his analysis, Steyn says he discovered that Khumalo had received a telephone call from accused number 5 in this trial, Fisokuhle Ntuli, on the 2nd of August 2014, and also on the 15th of October 2014. So the 15th of October 2014, Aldrin, that is 11 days before Senzo Meyiwa was killed. So the first call lasted close to 2 minutes, we understand, and the other was about 1.5 minutes. So one of those calls is understood to have been received in the vicinity of Kimberley, and the other as well as in Limpopo. Let's take a listen to what Colonel Lambertus Steyn had to say.
Then my next point, during my analysis, I discovered that Khumalo with a number 27827 044 received a call from Ntuli Nkani with the number 27733.
Just read that first name.
Fisokuhle.
Fisokuhle.
Sorry.
And if written in brackets 5, what does that indicate?
It means it's a suspect 5 in front of the court.
Well, and then Griselda, tell us exactly what Fisokuhle Ntuli's link to this case would be as accused number 5.
Aldrin, I'll get to that. Even more startling, something that you mentioned in your intro there as well, is that Steyn also basically said that some of the data was deleted from Khumalo's phone, and this is hours after Meyiwa's death, but police had managed to retrieve that data. Let's take a listen.
If we can get back down then to exhibit O in brackets 1, we were at page 18. Yes, they're in the middle of the page. You can continue from there.
On the device boot up or down?
Yes, just below that.
During the cell phone download, the following has been picked up on the device event log with the device boot up at 20:14, 10:27, 01, 51, 58 a.m. So that's in the early mornings of just obviously the morning after the crime incident.
Uma wenza ngaleso sikhathi kwenziwa le cellphone download lokho kulandelayo kuye kwatholakala kuleso setshenziswa okanye i-device event lock ene device boot up nge-27th of October 2014 isikhathi besithi 01 imizuzu 31 imizuzu 1:38 AM UTC.
So that can mean that the owner of the phone did delete everything on the phone.
Lokho kungasho ukuthi umnikazi wale phone uye waxisha yonke into okanye wasula yonke into eyayise efonini.
Or some of the information, because it's a smartphone, you can do it.
Kanti ke mhlawumbe kunokwenzeka ukuthi ukhona ke imali ethize ayonke akwazi ukuthi makayisule lapho kuleyo cellphone.
Yes.
Phela ke bekuyi smart cellphone.
Yes, just
You
for
can
record
do it
purpose.
via internet, where you've got also access to your own information, which you can go into your phone information and you can delete some of your information. It's not necessary for you to have the phone in your hand.
Well, Alton, you would know that all 5 of the men that are currently before this court are accused of alleged involvement in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. You must recall that there's been a contention that there were alleged intruders that got into the house at the time that Senzo Meyiwa was killed. We also heard, you would know from the previous witness, Ntuli Mugiti, who says that she heard or what she'd seen after 3 gunshots had gone off. There had been 3 people who also run past where she had been sitting. This is just outside the Khumalo home. She was having a conversation with a friend in the vehicle. So all 5 of these men that are currently before this court are accused of alleged involvement in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. So Alton, I just want to go back to these startling revelations that we heard yesterday inside court of this so-called communication, cell phone communication between Fisokuhle Ntuli as well as Khumalo. For the first time, what we also saw is that the mood changed inside the courtroom. You're not obviously able to see with much of what is taking place inside the courtroom. The mood had certainly changed. Fisokuhle Ntuli would often have his head up, and would often, look towards the other accused. This time, he had his head bowed down and very discreetly was having conversations with the other accused. At some point, they even laughed when the investigating officer, who had basically been part of, combing through these cell phones, had basically said that one of these calls was in the vicinity of the Limpopo area, one of them was in the Kimberley area. He put his head down, started laughing with the other accused who'd been sitting nearest to him. But also, Alton, of critical importance, you must remember, with these startling revelations now of alleged for the first time, we are now hearing that Khumalo had communication with accused number 5, Fisokuhle Ntuli, in that he had telephoned her, according to what we heard in court yesterday. You would recall that the state has previously indicated that it did not plan to call Khumalo to come and testify in this particular matter. The defense, as I've said over the past few days, had indicated it plans to bring an application. Does this put a spanner in the works? Because you must recall, since the start of this particular trial, we've heard of quite a number of things that I guess the defense in that application, when it motivates for it at a later stage, would probably even say, we heard about, SMSs that Khumalo had sent to Zandi Khumalo, in which she had expressed some disquiet and displeasure or an unhappiness about the relationship between herself and Senzo Meyiwa. And now we're also hearing about communication that this officer, investigating officer, believes was had between Fisokuhle Ntuli and Khumalo. And the latest one, from what we heard in court yesterday, was just 11 days before Senzo Meyiwa was killed. So at this particular stage, I think that the defense will certainly move towards a particular direction of, bringing this application. When that will happen, we certainly don't know. But Colonel Lambertus Steyn back on the stand at 10 o'clock. As usual, it's on the SABC YouTube page.